First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
It's Election Day here in Gainesville, where voters will once again decide who should control Gainesville regional utilities. Welcome to First at 5. I'm Eva Garcia.
And I'm Ciara Carle. A referendum on today's ballot asks if control should return to the Gainesville City Commission or stay with the governor-appointed GRU authority. This fight started back in June 2023, when Governor Ron DeSantis signed a bill that gave control of the city utility to the newly created GRU authority. After a year of back and forth between city and state officials, Gainesville City Commission decided to put the GRU on the ballot, allowing citizens to decide who would control their utilities. That vote was in November 2024. That would have given control back to the City Commission, but was thrown out by a judge due to, quote, misleading ballot language. Today, Gainesville voters by the thousands went to their local polling stations. With almost 4,000 residents voted just today, on top of the nearly 10,000 that had already voted by mail or early voting, Gainesville voters are hoping to have their voices heard. While the vote may be almost over, this story still has a long way to go. For more on that, let's get right over to WUFT's Emily Drelick, live in the newsroom.
It's been a 2-year-long fight between the City Commission and the state-appointed authority board over who controls GRU. While this election might seem like the end to the war, we're told the legal battle is far from over.
There's going to be no difference between a yes or no vote.
A 2-year-long battle culminating at the polls. But GRU CEO says,
ultimately, this will be decided in the courts.
On election night, the GRU Authority Board is filing an emergency writ to preserve jurisdiction. If it's approved by the 1st District Court of Appeals, the Authority Board will stay in charge until the court settles remaining legal questions. That means a yes on the referendum might not change GRU's ownership after the election.
The will of the people is only an acceptable voice when it's through the rule of law.
Gainesville Mayor Harvey Ward says he's frustrated with the board's lack of accountability to the people of Gainesville.
I believe that people that you select that are known to you locally are going to serve you better than people who are appointed by somebody 150 miles away. And I think that people who sue you to keep you from voting probably in the long term are on the wrong side of history.
If residents vote yes on this referendum, that'll give the city the power to strip the authority board of its control over GRU as soon as those election results are certified. However, the courts could put a stop to this if they approve GRU's emergency writ to preserve jurisdiction. Live in the newsroom, Emily Drelick, WUFT News.
For a full breakdown into the referendum, including highlights of the legal battles over the years, head to WFT.org. There you can also find a full list of voting locations by precincts. The polls are open for another 2 hours. Residents of High Springs, you also have less than 2 hours to vote in your city's elections. At the top of the ballot, the race for City Commission Seat 3. Tristan Grunder, who also serves as High Springs' current mayor, is seeking re-election, while Julia Tapia Ruano is looking to unseat him. Also on the ballot, the long-debated question of allowing more High Springs businesses to sell alcohol on Sundays. Currently, businesses are prohibited from selling alcohol on Sunday unless food sales make up more than 51% of their revenue. The amendment would allow alcohol sales for businesses under that 51% threshold, but only if they get a special permit.
And another local city making a change to their alcohol rules, Lake City. Now, residents will be able to buy alcohol even if underage people are present. Under Chapter 6 of Lake City's code, persons under 21 were not able to stay location where alcohol is sold. That was until Monday, when the Lake City Council voted 4-1 to reverse this rule. Well, the weather is looking great outside as people wait in line on Election Day. UF forecaster Reuben Roberts is live in the weather studio. Reuben, with the polls about to close, skies should be clear the rest of the evening.
I mean, you're absolutely right. As you can see right now, there is no cloud cover for those on campus right now. I mean, we're looking at the temperature. It's about 74. So if you are headed to those polls or at the polls right now, it should feel amazing outside. As mentioned, it is about 74. So it feels warm for those on the University of Florida's campus right now. You can see the humidity is not too high. That is thanks to that dry air, which I will get later into on the show about what the dry air, how it's affecting North Central Florida. But let's take a look at the temperatures. We're not the only one benefiting from this warm, amazing amazing weather. I mean, depending on where you're at, depending on if you're a more shaded area, it may feel a bit more chilly, but for those inland, it is going to be in the 70s and it should feel good. And going into the evening, it is going to continue to feel good as it's going to remain clear skies. The temperature is going to steadily decrease. But speaking of temperature, going into tomorrow morning, it is going to be a little bit more chilly. So if you're going to class, if you're taking your kid to school, or if you're going to work, we do recommend for those more inland to bring a jacket. Maybe if you're closer to the coast, you should be fine. But if you are more inland, it is going to feel chilly.
Today marks 34 years since 27-year-old Miguel Pineda was found dead outside a local pizza shop in a case that remains unsolved in Alachua County. Pineda was found outside of Pizza King off Northwest 39th Avenue. Law enforcement found he had been shot in an apparent robbery. If you have any information, contact the Alachua County Sheriff's Office or Crime Stoppers. A 30-year-old Ocala man will be sentenced on November 10th after shooting and killing a 44-year-old man at Cynthia Chestnut Park in September. Javon Barclay could face 30 years in prison as a part of a plea deal signed on Monday. He originally faced up to life in prison if convicted at trial.
Today marks the 35th day of the government shutdown. That's tied for the longest in U.S. history. Plus, tens of millions relying on SNAP benefits left scared and confused after a Truth Social post by President Trump. This morning, senators failed to pass the budget resolution that would allow the government to reopen. President Trump taking to Truth Social to share his displeasure, saying in part, SNAP benefits will be given only when the radical left Democrats open up government and not before. White House spokespeople quickly walked that statement back, but warned that getting benefits out won't be easy.
The administration is fully complying with the court order. I just spoke to the president about it. The recipients of these SNAP benefits need to understand it's going to take some time to receive this money because the Democrats have forced the administration into a very untenable position.
The White House since confirmed that it would follow through on plans to partially fund SNAP during the shutdown. Senate Democrats say they won't agree to the budget resolution unless ACA subsidies are extended. If those subsidies expire, ACA premiums are expected to increase by over 50%, with Florida being one of the most affected states. Here in North Central Florida, the community is coming together to help people struggling due to the shutdown. Marion County is hosting its annual Harvest Home Food Drive. It's asking for donations of non-perishable food, baby supplies, and toiletries, which you can drop off through December 5th. Drop-off locations and a full list of items needed can be found at marionfl.org/BHH.
E-bike safety is top of mind for several Florida communities, including the runs right here in Gainesville, where there is a large population of riders. WFT's Dasha Baroni is live in the studio with a new bill aimed at keeping more riders safe on the roads.
A new bill will force Florida residents to follow new safety protocols while riding e-bikes. If approved, this bill will go into effect on July 2027. Florida Representative Yvette Benaroche introduced this bill in order to increase e-bike safety measures and decrease accidents. Riders are required to hold a valid driver's license and wait for pedestrians to cross. Driver education courses are also expected to change their curriculum by including 25 questions covering electric bike and rider safety. E-bikes are a popular form of transportation for University of Florida students. Bikes can be found at campus intersections and the numbers seem to keep increasing. UF students are also expected to follow the new law when the bill passes. Florida lawmakers are expected to meet on January 13th to discuss e-bike regulations, among other items, at the start of the 60-day session. Live in the studio, Dasha Baroni, WUFT News.
And when First at 5 returns, we take a look at a Marion County woman making a sensational difference in her community.
The unique initiative she started to bring some joy to kids that need it.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
With a renovated bus, 35-year-old occupational therapist Katie Alexander makes sensory therapy happen in Marion County.
It was an idea sparked by chatter from parents surrounding the lack of services for children with autism in the area. And as WFT's Reagan Poland reports, Alexander decided to become the change in her local community.
Every session with that kid is my favorite session. He's hilarious. he'll look at you and kind of do like a little side eye, and you learn exactly like what he's wanting and what he's trying to communicate to you.
In Marion County, sensory therapy is arriving at families' doorsteps. Occupational therapist Katie Alexander is the founder of the Sensory Bus, North Central Florida's first and only mobile occupational therapy and sensory service. Each visit is tailored to meet the child's individual needs, helping them develop confidence, coordination, and motor skills. This is 3-year-old Carson Sexton.
He is making so many gains, not only with his motor skills, but with his fine motor skills, with his social interactions. He's making much better eye contact.
For 10 years, Alexander worked in the public school system, where she saw how many children lacked access to sensory services. So, she turned a bus from Facebook Marketplace into a fully equipped sensory space on wheels. For Carson's mom, having therapy come directly to their home makes all the difference.
I told her, I was like, we're never leaving. She's stuck with us. It's one of our most favorite therapies that we have him in right now.
From recognizing a need to making the change, the Sensory Bus is helping neurodivergent children one visit at a time. Reagan, Poland, WUFT News.
Coming up, we'll be talking a lot more about how sunny this week is going to be. It is going to feel a bit warmer until Sunday, and it is remaining quiet in the tropics. I'll have more for you next.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I have been thoroughly enjoying this wonderful weather we've been having.
And with Veterans Day coming up, I mean, it's looking like it's going to be great. Can you tell us a little more about the weather?
I do have a little bit of a bad news, as it won't be raining. It's a low chance, but it will feel a little bit more cooler and chillier than it will feel this week. I mean, this week it is definitely going to feel more warm, and it's going to feel pretty hot. But come Sunday, there will be a cold front coming through, which I'll talk about later on in the show, of how that's going to affect the temperature. It's really going to drop. But let's take a look on campus. What's going on right now? I want the audience to look up, see the sky. There is not many clouds in the sky. I mean, it's pretty much clear because of that dry air that is affecting the skies right now. So you can see it's about 74 and the humidity is only 60. Once again, thanks to the dry air. But I did want to bring attention to the wind gusts, as that is something I want to mention. Look at those along the coast. Those along the coast, you're seeing about 16-mile-per-hour wind gusts, but those more inland, you're going to see about 13, 12, 11. So those more inland, it is definitely not going to be more windier. We're getting winds from the northeast. And right now that wind could make it feel a little bit more breezier. But let's step away from North Central Florida. Let's look at the southern part of America. You can see this high pressure, which will be coming to effect. North Central Florida comes soon. And how it's going to affect us, it is going to clear up the skies. They call high pressure happy weather. Why? Because it's going to be more clear skies. It is going to feel amazing outside. But speaking of amazing feeling, this dry air right here, this dry air over North Central Florida is clearing up the skies, preventing the chances of showers, preventing the chances of thunderstorms. It is suppressing everything. That is why it doesn't feel very muggy and uncomfortable outside, because of that dry air. But let's touch on the low temperatures come this Wednesday morning, come tomorrow morning. If you are going to work, if you are bringing your kid to school, or if you're going to class, please, we suggest to bring a jacket, because it's going to be in the 50s. And then if you're more along the coast, you may be a little bit more good, as it will be in the 64. But speaking of, let's step away from America as a whole and touch on the Atlantic. No development expected over the next 7 days, according to the National Hurricane Center. So that is good news, since Melissa just came through. Right now, the tropics has basically cooled down and is off the radar. But let's touch on this 7 day. What is going on? So the story that I'm seeing is the 80s are going to be your highs come until Sunday, and the 50s and 60s are going to be your lows. But put attention on Sunday. Another cold front is coming through. So after that cold front comes through, look at how steady the temperature drops. I mean, we're going from the 80s as your highs to 69 as your high. And then come Veterans Day, if you want to get on the grill or you want to have a cookout, it is going to be in the 60s. That is going to be your high. The low could get as low as I've heard in the 30s, but it is projected to be in the 40s. So the story that we're looking out for is the temperature is going to steadily change after that cold front comes through.
Butler Plaza shoppers, your shopping experience is growing with the opening of 10 new stores. With the plaza already covering 1.7 million square feet, 2 more businesses have opened and more are coming soon. New stores include Victoria's Secret, which is officially open, and Lululemon, a project still underway. There's a lot of construction throughout the area of the shopping center, which concerns some local residents.
I think that Butler is doing the best it can to manage the exponential growth, but it's just a part of growth, and it makes it really sometimes inconvenient for residents.
Here's a list of all the places becoming a part of Butler Plaza's future. The largest expansion will be Arnold Palmer's Center Cup, which will include a 19,000 square foot entertainment area with golf simulators, cornhole, and a patio bar. Arnold Palmer's Center Cup, Bank of America, Bonkin, Buckle, Moki Nut, Pepper's Mexican Grill, Texas de Brazil, Lululemon, and Victoria's Secret.
The Ocala Community Reinvestment Board met earlier today to discuss improvement plans for the city. Among them, the redevelopment of the historic Hotel Marion. The nearly century-old hotel will be renovated into a Hilton location with over 50 new rooms. The project is expected to cost just under $30 million, with the city donating an extra $1.25 million plot of land to the hotel developers. That's highlighted in blue. It says this is because of the expected benefit to downtown Ocala and its residents.
Coming up after the break, police say that a North Central Florida high school athlete did the unthinkable. And both Gators men's and women's hoops are officially back in action. Both teams had their season openers last night.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome to sports. I'm Isaac Edelman. An 18-year-old Bell High School football player is facing arrest after a violent incident in a football game versus Fernandina Beach on Halloween. And just a warning, the video you are about to see might be hard to watch. 18-year-old Daniel Byers is facing charges after he was involved in a scuffle with a Fernandina player. Video from social media shows Byers removing the helmet of his 15-year-old opponent and striking him in the head with it. In a statement, police said multiple scuffles on and off the field had to be broken up by officers following the incident, and the Bell football team had to have a police escort after the game. The Gilchrist County School District issued a statement saying they are aware of the incident and are conducting a review. The district says it will take appropriate action once that review is complete. Switching gears, I hope you didn't get too attached to football because college basketball is officially back. The reigning national champions took to the court for the first time since hoisting the trophy in San Antonio. But bad news, the Gators won't be going undefeated this season. Number 13 Arizona beat number 3 Florida in Las Vegas 93-87 Monday night. The Gators sent the Wildcats to the free throw line 38 times, which Todd Golden certainly wasn't happy with. Thomas Houck had a career-high 27 points, but it wasn't enough. One game, one win. Gators women's basketball started the season hot, defeating North Florida 96-62 Monday night. Head coach Kelly Ray Finley was very proud of the way her team played to open the season, saying it was the tip of the iceberg for what's to come.
You saw exactly how we want to play. Thought we did a lot of good things. We got a little bit lax in that fourth quarter, but shared the ball beautifully, played hard, played together. Thought our defense was much improved. We were able to have great mental transitions on both sides of the ball.
5 players scored in double digits for the Gators, headlined by Liv McGill's near triple-double. Florida has won 7 straight home openers. Even crazier, listen to this. The Gators forced 31 UNF turnovers. Both the men's and women's team will be back in action on Thursday night at home. The women play at 5 p.m., followed by the men right after. Florida high schools are getting a slight makeover. After hours of discussion in Gainesville, the FHSAA voted to drop just one class. WUFT's Alexa Conroy is live outside Citizens Field with what this means for teams in competition across Alachua County.
The FHSAA board meeting spent hours debating how they're going to reshape high school football. They ended up eliminating a whole classification. This could impact schools such as Gainesville High, Buchholz, and Hawthorne.
And the board voted to approve option A.
After hours of discussion inside the FHSAA, members were stuck between option A and option B when it comes to what schools will play each other during next year's football season. Option A keeps the current system with one small adjustment, eliminating Class 7A while maintaining the rural division and no mandatory district play. Option B removes mandatory district play for all classes. Scott Jamieson, an associate director of athletics, says impacts to local teams is minimal.
I wouldn't anticipate there being too much of a change. Could see a change in a class up or down, maybe for Buchholz, Gainesville East Side. Some of those schools, Hawthorne will remain in the rural division.
But schools like Westport, which is currently in the 7A class, will see a major change come next season. For most other schools, the reclassification means only minor adjustments to their competition and playoff structure, keeping the familiar opponents for another season. While FHSAA leaders say this current change is only for football, other sports in the future are still on the table.
In the future, they may look at the other, we'll call them district tournament sports, and then we have our individual sports as well, so they all kind of have a different feel for them, but this was just for football, just a change for football.
The FHSAA says they'll have districts ready by Christmas, giving the teams enough time to prepare for the upcoming season. Live in Gainesville, Alexa Conroy, WUFT Sports.
It's that time of the year. The high school football playoffs are right around the corner, and Buchholz is expected to be the top seed in Region 6A. Stay tuned because this Thursday, the FHSAA will announce the playoff bracket. We will have a final look at the weather after the break.
Taking one last look at our 7-day outlook, I mean, the story is the temperature is going to drop as that cold front comes come Monday. Speaking of Monday and Tuesday, you see Veterans Day. I mean, the 60s is going to be your high, 40s is going to be your low. If you plan on getting on that grill, bringing a coat will be advised.
Thank you so much, Reuben, and thank you all for joining us. We hope that you'll be back here tomorrow for another edition of First at 5.
Have a great night, and remember those coats this Veterans Day.